podcast for life.
Doggy Charles. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. The microphone messiah. Yeah. It's the microphone messiah. And Mr. No Days Off. Microphone messiah. Mr. No Days Off. Phil, Brandon, what's good, y'all? Let's go. Bullet Cast host. Look, this is the time for us to be great on podcasts. Let you know this is the time and how the vibe lasts. This is the feeling of time and when we on it. You know we got no time for no opponent, just the feeling. This is the time of the greats on everything that we say. You know we about getting paid. Every opinion of wrestling. You know we got the truth in it. Every time you know that we on, this is the movement. You know the Bullet Pass podcast been on. You know the time we on, the feeling. This is the time of dealing. We live in.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah. I am joined by the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. No video this week because your boy's looking rough. But nonetheless, we are here to talk about some professional wrestling. Brandon, what's going on, man?
What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a splendid time out there.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yep, that's pretty much all I got.
Okay. All right. I guess that's it. Let's go outside of the ring. WWE and TNA have announced a multi-year partnership between members of the TNA roster and the NXT roster. So, what are your thoughts? What are your teas? Going to be seeing some more pop-ups in the Rumble, huh?
I think this is, it's a big deal, but then also like not a big deal just because like TNA and WWE have had this partnership in the past already, but now it's just like put pen to paper. It's official, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I assume we're going to get maybe a new TNA heavyweight champion, Joe Hendry, in the Rumble, maybe Masha Slamovich or whoever the women's champion will be at the Rumble. Maybe Jordan Grace runs it back again. But yeah, so it's like it's a big deal, obviously, because we never thought we'd see WWE and TNA together, but it's under new ownership, and I'm not gonna sit here and like say, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna buy TNA because we forget like TNA is owned by a pretty large company in their own right in Anthem Sports, so it's not like they're the Carter family or the Jarrett family who might be
Anthem
struggling.
Still owns TNA?
I believe so, or whatever like the conglomerate is that owns like the Access TV.
Okay.
And other stuff.
I remember the Anthem era. I remember the logo being plastered all over Impact. So when I stopped seeing it, I just made the assumption that they were no longer affiliated. Yeah.
So I mean, I know we had the WWE the NXT UK era, and that kind of killed the UK independent scene. Luckily, it's back, but I don't think it's going to be
and some other stuff.
Well, COVID really hit them hard.
Yeah. That's what.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. All right. But no, it's good, man. I mean, I see people tweeting about it already. Like, AJ Francis was tweeting. You go through the back and they kick you out the front. Cedric Alexander's tweeted X Divisions. I mean, we could be seeing some pretty cool stuff. I mean, obviously, one thing of this partnership. The Hardy Boys are the TNA Tag Team Champions. Both Hardy Boys were just on Inside with Chris Van Vliet. Shout out CVV. And, hey, man, this could lead to the homecoming that we've all been waiting for. Jeff, he kind of actually, have you heard the episodes or have you seen any clips from it?
It's been making the rounds on TikTok. RIP, just 2 more days.
This is really happening. It's leaving.
Apparently, I don't know, until Mr. Beast or Elon Musk buys it.
Okay. I was never really a talk ticker anyway. I have one. I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't
missing out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Instagram Reels just is not going to be the same.
Come on now. But yeah, no, Jeff Hardy, talked about that. Kind of like when he got let go from WWE, we didn't really know what was going on, but we kind of found out like his father had passed away. Obviously, messed up his sobriety, but he's good now, and looks like he's moving better than what he was doing in AEW. So, hey, man, if this leads to them coming back, let's do it. Let's have another quick little tag run and get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen like the middle NXT people go over to TNA, and kind of like the top TNA people go over to NXT. So even in that front, there's kind of like an imbalance of power, quote unquote. But like people like the Hardy Boys, definitely you would want to see them like back in WWE. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth. I might have my qualms with him currently, but he's doing good work over there in TNA,
Let him be, bro.
and I do wonder, like, what would his name be? I also wonder, like, if John, well, I mean, John Moxley is a little different. I think John Moxley would be Dean Ambrose, but then Moxley is, I don't know.
Yeah,
That,
I think he would come back as Mox. I think they would just let it be. But I mean, could you imagine like no more words hitting like when like number 25 is entering the Royal Rumble? Like, oh my god, or what's a tag?
we get
What's
we get
what's
CM Punk and Jeff Hardy in the year of our Lord 2025 in WWE.
That's what Jeff was talking about. Like, he was talking about like what if sobriety hit Jeff so hard that he becomes a bad guy and he and Punk run it back. He was trying to do something with Punk and AEW, but it never really kind of panned out. Which I forget they were there at the same time. It's something, man. It's something to think about. But I'm happy for these people to get these opportunities to showcase on different platforms in front of different audiences. Good work, good work. R.I.P. Bob Uecker. Baseball legend extraordinaire has passed away at the age of 90 years old. Bob Uecker, famously a part of the WWF back in the golden age, getting choked out by Andre the Giant.
Yeah, real sad. I mean, he passed away at the age of 90, so he lived a long life, had just a phenomenal career in broadcasting, and he became like a comedy figure, but also like a sports figure and a entertainment figure. And it was sad. I've seen like a lot of clips, a lot of highlights of his career in the past 24 hours. And it just sucks. But at these times, you kind of look back and see how great he was. And definitely, like in the '80s, during that time, he was a phenomenon. He was in Major League, as you said, he was at WrestleMania and all that good stuff. So even at 90, he still had his fastball back. Just a couple months ago.
Absolutely. Shout out to Bob Uecker. May he rest in peace. We got to talk about the Jada Parker of it all. We wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't do this. Listen, so I guess it what she liked a not I guess we've all seen the screenshot. She liked an Instagram post. God knows however long ago this was about like who's not letting trans people compete with.
I'm vaguely aware of what's going on. Look, it's a sensitive topic. I
Yes.
understand. Trans people in sports, it's a very complicated, complex, sensitive topic, which I might have my own opinions on, but also I don't have full comprehension on exactly the biological and scientific matters of what all this stuff entails. But yeah, Jada Parker liked something about like basically like anti-trans women in female sports, and that's like set this whole thing ablaze, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, people have been coming for Jada Parker. I mean, she's taking to social media like, if you don't come for me, come correct. And then this rumor started about her having an affair with Jey Uso, and I'm like, where did that come from? Like, what? Like, man, wrestling fans are weird, bro. Like, y'all just gonna start up a random rumor that don't got nothing to do with this man. You're gonna ruin his home. I mean, Jay's already spoken about it. He put on his IG story while he was working out, like, y'all funny, just watch me work. Like, what are y'all doing, bro? Leave this man alone. He didn't do nothing to y'all.
And apparently some WWE TikToker or Twitter person is a predator. So it's just been a hell of a day, hell of a week
Wait. Who?
for W.
What?
So I don't know if you would remember this, but he was like the guy. He kind of I kind of only remember him for going viral. I think it was the LA WrestleMania one, or maybe even the Philly WrestleMania one. But he's like the guy who's like just super decked out in Roman Reigns gear, and he like does reaction videos. I don't know what his name is, but I saw like some shows popping off with him. And also apparently he might be racist because he doesn't like Bianca Belair, allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that's your wrestling internet news for the week,
Jesus
guys.
Christ. What the hell is going on?
I'm slightly tuned in enough to kind of know what's going on, but not tuned in enough to know what's going on.
I see. I see. We have some fan mail in bright as day is.
Mr. X, quack quack.
The Hall of Famer. Well, hello. He says, who do you think is the says who do you think is the odds on favorite to win the Rumble as it stands right now, both men and women? Oh god. The men's one is up in the air. It is completely up in the air. Um women? Gee, that's uh yeah, that's another one. Like, I don't know. I'll just maybe Naya or give her something else. Or maybe she was just champion for a while. Um Yeah, I don't know.
Talked about the men's a little bit on Curveballs and Chair Shots. Shout out Mr. X for asking the same question. I think John Cena is like the official favorite, like betting wise, and it's kind of like a substantial margin too, because there's been a lot of rumor and innuendo that's Cody and Cena at WrestleMania, which I don't even like that as a match to begin with at WrestleMania, but
I mean,
that's a separate topic.
after what we found out on Friday, it could be the man that won the match 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for the men's Rumble, just like in a storyline perspective of how they're going to go with it, because everyone's revolving around either the title, Roman, both, and I think it's going to set up for a fun dynamic. And there's a lot of
I
open
mean,
challengers that you could possibly see winning.
like if you really look at it, like you there's a
There's,
lot. I mean, there's a CM Punk of it all. Like Punk and Drew and Seth could all cancel each other out. See, I'm sure like
I mean, the fact that Roman hasn't been in this match in 5 years because he's been champion the whole time says something. Makes
yeah.
it bigger.
But if you look at it, I mean, we've talked about it. I've talked about it extensively. Roman Reigns is the most important, probably the most important Royal Rumble competitor of all time. Constantly, I mean, won it, the runner up, defended the championship in it. Just a lot. But I can't say about the men. I mean, there's Jay. I mean, what if he doesn't beat Gunther? There's Cody. I mean, Cody's the champ. There's Jay. There's Roman. There's Punk. There's Drew. There's Seth. There's a lot of ways you can go. He also says had a lot of fun at Dynamite last night. The smaller venue, but that made for a more intimate experience, and the crowd reaction was great. So cool to see Kenny Omega back in action. Joe is finally back. Also, I have to say sorry, nothing against Will Hobbs, but I had to cheer for my boy Mox. Hey man, Will Hobbs, that's town business. That's a local hero around here, man. Stop playing with the kid. He also says, fun fact: the doors Moxley came in from outside the venue were the same ones I came in through as well. Oh, you love to hear it, man. You
Yeah,
love to hear that.
the Dynamite
Let's
venue
talk.
was pretty chill. I don't know exactly what it was. It was like a music hall because like it had the stage and then had like 3 rows of seating. It looked cool. I mean, Ricochet literally just like went through a door and he was outside in snow. So
Type ish. Let's go to SmackDown. Cody and Paul Heyman have a segment together. Heyman lets Cody know, like, now that Roman has regained the Ulafala and he is the one and only tribal chief, he'll be entering the Royal Rumble, kind of what we just talked about. And then Kevin Owens comes out there and he says, this is typical. This is typical of you when they get to squabbling up, squabble ah, squabble, squabble, squabble ah. And then this leads to Cody and Jimmy Uso versus the bloodline consisting of Tamatanga and Jacob Fatu.
yeah, good segment with no Roman, but Paul Heyman had something to talk about for Roman. It was good stuff. And then Kevin, kind of saying the same stuff over and over again, but it's like he's hitting the same points home. It's, they're building for a month's worth of television. So, it's going to get maybe a little repetitive at times, but I thought just overall the performances were good. And, involving the new bloodline and setting up the match, I thought was a good little tease throughout the show.
Cody just keeps teaming with these bloodline members, huh?
Yep.
Oh, yep. Inside the ring, Baron Corbin, or Tom Pescott, as he will now be known using his government name, he's going up against Josh Barnett, Bloodsport, Hammerstein Ballroom, GCW. Was that this weekend? I
Sure.
believe that's
Yeah,
this
definitely.
weekend. Yeah. Let's see what he can do, man. I mean, I mean, his whole character in the early days of NXT, obviously he was quiet and stoic, but when he started speaking, was like, all you guys had to, go wrestle in the bingo halls and go wrestle for $20 for 15 years. I got a phone call. So he's gonna now step into that world that he trashed on camera. So let's see. I mean, GCW is not a bingo hall. I mean, they're the biggest indie on the planet, really. So let's see what Corbin can do.
Yeah, it's intriguing. We saw Jinder Mahal step in there, not in Bloodsport, but in GCW, and yeah, I mean, haven't really heard much of Jinder since. Corbin, on the other hand, I think there is something there. Like, I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be like, Matt Cardona or Drew McIntyre by any means, but I think his character, his like personality works well in that independent scene, and he's like kind of athletic enough to maybe get away with some stuff, and his size will carry him. So, I'm intrigued to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna be seeing Corbin pop up multiple places. We'll see WrestleMania weekend. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna be booked out the wazoo. We'll see what's up with that. Raw on Netflix recap. It's the second episode. It was at the SAP Center. I wasn't there. That's unusual.
We weren't
But
there, but Marley was.
Marlee was. Yeah, we're gonna hear from Marlee. She's sending her thoughts about the show. Yeah, I've heard people say it was packed, like the line wrapped around the SAP Center like it's never done before. The business is hot, man. I guess this is kind of the feel of what Raw on Netflix is going to be. Obviously, the first episode they had to give us the glitz and the glam and a big shebang, but this is what we're kind of gonna get consistently every week. Wasn't 3 hours? It was like 2 hours and 37 minutes or something like on the dot. People have been saying, yeah, good stuff. Start off with CM Punk, talking about the Royal Rumble. Rollins comes out there, says he's not done with him. Then McIntyre comes out there. Very interesting. I think we're gonna get what Rollins and McIntyre next week.
Yep, I believe so. We had like some new graphics, some like moving face graphics instead of like the full body graphics we had on the debut Monday Night Raw. So just little things.
Thoughts on the three of these gentlemen in the segment
Uh,
together?
yeah, I thought it was really strong. Punk comes out and does his whole shtick about, kind of pandering the Mick Foley gimmick, kind of in his own way. And, Seth comes out, reacts to the loss. Drew comes out and kind of talks to both of them and kind of says, the kind of the elephant in the room was like, yeah, both of you guys hate each other, but you guys are basically the same people. And like, was it Drew going after Seth, but Punk thought it was about him, and Drew was like, "Yeah, I wasn't talking to you, buddy. I was talking about Seth." And so I thought it was like a fun dynamic, and then it sets up, once again, sets up another dynamic in the Rumble. So, like I said, like these three have an issue. Two of them individually have issues. They all have links to Roman, the
Yeah,
Jay and Drew. There's just so many different spider webs going on with this Rumble.
there was a lot. There was a lot going on with that. Um, I've heard people throw out triple threat at Mania. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I mean, I think at this point, you really want the CM Punk singles WrestleMania match to be something. And I don't know what that is. I mean, Roman still is out there. Maybe a title match with Gunther. I just feel like if you're gonna have Punk in a WrestleMania match and his body's held up thus far, you don't know how many more you got of them. I think you got to pull the trigger on a massive CM Punk singles match at WrestleMania right now.
You do. I saw fan footage of CM Punk choking Lars Fredrickson, our other elevator buddy.
Damn.
All right.
I mean, it wasn't. It was just, he was just choking him a little bit. It wasn't nothing too
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. The last time CM Punk was in San Jose, man, we was with that man for like 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yep, good times, great times.
It made your ankle rehab just worth it, right?
Yeah, brother, tell me about it. Oh man, cross him off the list. Hello. Gunther and Jey Uso promo. Jey Uso will challenge Gunther at Saturday night's main event on the 25th. That's next week. That's next week. For the World Heavyweight Championship. Uh, Jay said it's his time, Oos. It's his time, Oos. Is it his time, Oos?
Maybe. I mean, Gunther isn't like exactly setting the world on fire with his world title reign. I don't know if it's like just not focusing on him enough. He's not having like those great matches like he was doing with the IC title. Maybe, I mean, like I keep saying, like, it's kind of a fad and I don't like really get the Yeet stuff because the Yeet stuff's old. Jey Uso's like the most popular person in the company when it comes to like just strictly entrances and like reactions. Like, and I say this from time to time, like sometimes it doesn't make any sense, but sometimes you just got to go with somebody and just ride that wave. And I don't know if you got to ride that Jey Uso wave.
You have to ride the wave. Yeet. Yeet.
I mean, they rode the LA Night wave. We saw that. It
Yeah.
it didn't go too long, but they rode it and they got something out of it. Maybe do with
If he
Jey
had
Uso.
won, if he had won a championship a little sooner, do you think it would have lasted a little longer?
I mean, maybe, but even like with the title win,
Yeah.
it's not like he was doing anything with it. He was like, having those matches with what Andrade and uh Carmelo Hayes and
Carmelo.
whoever else was like, the mid card of the SmackDown scene.
I mean, those aren't bad guys to be in the ring with.
Yeah, but I think not exactly like the matches per se, but just mainly like the story. It was just like they were just having matches for the sake of matches and they weren't really feuding over anything. I think that was maybe more the issue. It was didn't give
I mean,
anything for him to sink his teeth into.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some guys are always better on the chase. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what comes of this Jey Uso and Gunther stuff. We'll see what they do next week. I'm intrigued, man. Maybe they pull the trigger with Widows. Well, you talked about great matches. Let's talk about Penta. He is finally in WWE. I mean, we used to go to APW and watch this guy. I mean, aura restored. The aura is back. I mean, this is what I've been talking about for like 5 years, man. The aura is back. We knew it was going to be him. The merch went on sale hours before Raw. In this case, it did work out. I'm sure people were buying those masks when they walked in the building and the shirts. Yeah, your birthday's in July, right? I might get you a Penta mask.
I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna replace my psychosis mask I got from Mexico.
Hello, come on now. You know what it is. Stop playing with the kid. But yeah, man. I mean, just perfect opponent, Chad Gable. I mean, just the graphic and the fire, and then the walk to the ring. That's the walk I've been talking about. Well, I always said crip walking, but it's a little Scott Hall, little surfer walk. But it was great, man. I felt the aura through the screen. This is what I've been missing from Penta for quite a while, man. I mean, excellent match with Chad Gable. The sell of that Canadian or the Mexican Destroyer was absolutely beautiful. Penta driver in WWE. People are saying he went a little long. Who cares? They got out of there in a decent amount of time. Cuts a great promo in English and Spanish. Thoughts on the debut of Penta? Pentagon Jr., Penta El Zero Miedo, blah, blah, blah. All the names.
Yeah, now it's just Penta, which I think is probably the easiest one. I think I like Pentagon Jr. maybe the best, but I thought it was a phenomenal debut overall from start to finish. I've kept saying that Penta could be a super duper star as a singles act, and we'll see. I mean, there's been other guys who's gotten off to strong starts, but even Dragon Lee, as much as I love him, he wasn't getting this type of push out the gate in WWE, and I think he just has,
Yeah.
Penta is not the wrestler like Rey Fenix or Rey Mysterio or Dragon Lee is, but just his charisma, and he wrestles good enough that it can carry him to new heights. And I talked about it last week of maybe like shaving some of the the edges off of Penta, and I think that's what we saw him selling. We saw him maybe not pandering to the crowd as much, which is kind of some stuff, kind of the lucha stuff he would do in AEW that I think takes people out of matches. And so I think it was a really good start. And then the promo afterwards, like San Jose was probably one of the best spots you can do it outside of going to like LA, San Diego, or like Texas near the Mexican border. But they reacted to him. I don't know how many of those people saw him at APW, but people really were getting a kick and really did love Penta, which was nice to see from the San Jose crowd.
George Kittle wasn't there. I mean, I feel like that would have been the golden opportunity to.
I mean, I've been saying that for years. When he was in AEW, especially when they came to San Francisco for Revolution, like I get it, that's like the off season, but like they'll do something eventually with Kittle and Penta.
Absolutely. Triple H's taking the photos with the zero in the end. I was like, this is it. This is great. I'm so happy for Penta, man. Congratulations for him to make it to the I mean, Michael Cole said, welcome to the big time, congrats for
a
him.
little
man.
unnecessary, but I get it.
I mean,
I get it, but it's
you
like,
know,
but every time they try to act like they're above AEW, they
both
always
sides
kind of
can't
get.
take shots.
I get it. I get it. I understand.
Who's next? I think that's the real question. Like 2022, Cody comes back. 2023, we get Punk. 2024, we get Jay. 2025, we've got Penta. Who's next? Conan
We're
said
get
Kenny needs to leave.
Kenny's not leaving. We're gonna get a Malachi Black, Aleister Black debut sometime in 2025. I don't
Rumble.
know when. Um,
Could you imagine just Malachi Black Royal Rumble, Pentagon in the Royal Rumble? I mean, let's talk about this Pentagon. I mean, Pentagon. What if Pentagon wrestled Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship?
I mean, that's
Mhm.
like it would be an interesting matchup just because like Braun is over as a face, and he's the ultimate tweener right now. Penta is going to be over as a face. I don't know if you want to. I think you want to put Penta like up against sturdy heels like a Chad Gable right now, just like firmly establish who he is and get the crowd behind him. I don't think you want to throw him right into an IC title match with a Braun Breaker that a lot of people do
I'm
like.
just saying, like down the line, down the line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think there will be gold in Penta's future.
What's up with his WrestleMania match? What we gonna do? We gonna do Rey Mysterio? We gonna do keep him away from the OWO because we see what happened to Dragon Lee. I mean, Dragon Lee versus Penta would be popping. Santos Escobar versus Penta would be popping.
Yeah, I mean, any of those matches would be fun. I mean, Drew McIntyre. I don't know what Drew McIntyre's doing. Drew McIntyre versus Penta could be fun.
Oh, that would be something. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I'm gonna need Seth Rollins versus Penta at some point in time. I'm gonna need that. Could you imagine? I'm just booking the territory. A face off between Roman Reigns and Penta. Royal
Uh,
Rumble. Could you imagine that?
I think Penta will be in the Rumble, and he'll be maybe one of those middle guys, like from the 10 to 20s, where he kind of gets a showcase and kind of does some
Yeah.
stuff.
Think he'd be in there for like 2025. Decent little time in there. Decent little time in the Rumble. Decent little time in the Rumble. Rhea and Nia have a segment. Bailey's out there because of San Jose. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of weird. I know they have like the whole transfer window gimmick that kind of just comes and
Yeah.
go now at this point, I guess. But yeah. So now Nia's not a champion anymore, so then she just happily goes over to Raw and she's blabbering on with Rhea, and it's like we've seen that so many times already before, and like I get it, like Nia has been doing some good stuff recently, but it is getting a little repetitive now with her and Rhea.
We saw it once last year. What are you talking about?
Was it
We
just
saw it
once last
once.
year?
Yeah, it was what February of last year, and that was it.
Well, I think that also leaked in from 2023 to 2024.
Well, I mean, she was dealing with Becky, really.
Going
For
back to misdirected questions, we didn't answer about the women's one. Charlotte Flair put out some video this week. I wouldn't be shocked if she wins the Rumble.
again. She won in 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
she put out a photo with Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson. I was like, I didn't see this. I don't know where this came from, but hey, I'm kind of here for it. Respectfully, of course.
respectfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see what else. Priest defeats Balor in a street fight. In a straight fight. You know what I'm saying? A great fight. Hello.
Surprised they didn't call it a San Jose street fight for the alliteration, even though, the mean streets of San Jose. But yeah, it was a fun match, just hardcore stuff everywhere. And
It's a San Jose street fight. They're throwing bacon wrap hot dogs at each other.
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully this feud is over. I mean, it's been long overdue. This thing should have been over at like Survivor Series or yeah, it should have been over a long time ago. So
It's
hopefully they were
done.
done.
Priest will go to SmackDown. Maybe Finn Balor will win again. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. I mean,
Finn Balor wins the Royal Rumble out of nowhere.
let it happen. We finally get the push. We finally get that Finn Balor push we're waiting 8 years for. Or
Yeah, I saw a clip of I was watching something for the WWE archive, and like in the background was like the Universal title Finn had. When he had to relinquish it, I'm like, oh man, that was a hell of a 24 hours.
yep. I was like, oh man, Finn. I love Finn. He's actually getting a run with the title, and it's gone.
Right, and it never got it back. If he had beaten Seth for one of those instances, I would have been okay with it. He could have had a title run for 2 months and then gave it back. But that's neither here nor there.
Should have beat Roman, but instead he like flopped like a fish and fell off the broken top turnbuckle.
Come on now. He wasn't beating the tribal chief. Stop that. Damn, that was like what, 2022? Jesus Christ. No, it was like 2021. Yeah. Damn.
One of the dumbest finishes I've ever seen. Outside of Hell in a Cell, 19. And then Hell in a Cell 18, which people forget. Everyone talks about the Fiend disqualification.
Oh, they're talking about the Braun and Roman one?
There was a Brock Lesnar disqualification in there too, the year before.
It's okay. Hell in a Cell is back. We're chilling. We're chilling now. We're done talking about this. We're gonna go to Marlee. She was in the house for Monday Night Raw. Let's listen to her thoughts.
I was actually in the building for this past Monday's Raw. WWE came through to San Jose at the SAP Center. It was the Raw on Netflix Bay Area debut, quote unquote. I went with Beatrice Domino because Mafia business, you know the vibes, but I had a really good time. I will say there was a different aura to the Netflix Raw, but I don't know if explaining it is going to make sense because it's an aura that you will only understand unless you're actually there. I mean, the format has not changed. They still do main event taping, then the Raw taping, and then the dark matches after the show, but you can definitely feel the difference from when Raw was on USA Network versus Raw on Netflix. It was packed, it was loud, it was good energy all around. I can honestly say that was the first time in a long time I had a good time, had a fun time at a WWE show. Not saying that the last few ones I didn't went to weren't fun, but there's just something about these Netflix Raws. There's aura to these Netflix Raws. And I mainly had fun because childhood dream of mine happened. I finally got to see CM Punk live. I've never seen him live. Cut a promo match, nothing, because the last time Raw was out here in San Jose, it was his post Royal Rumble injury, so he was out, and then he was also retired for 10 years, so I really couldn't see him. But we got to our seats right when Seth had come out to interrupt him, if not a little bit after Seth came out to interrupt him. So I missed his whole beginning promo because I was getting food. But overall, I thought the show was decent. I think last week we talked about how Raw on Netflix felt like a PLE. And they're kind of carrying over that energy. I feel like the word that I'm looking for is if a PLE and a post PLE show were the exact same thing. Because that was exactly the feeling that I got when I was in the arena. But Penta, his debut, I don't know if the live stream did it justice, but that crowd was so loud for Penta. They popped so hard for him. It was an incredible match, incredible reaction. Definitely well deserved. Happy to see Penta in WWE. Lyra became the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, which was cool. Sami Zayn versus The Miz was cool. It was shorter than I expected. It was shorter than I thought it was going to go. But, time constraints. I get it. We got Jey Uso challenging Gunther at Saturday night's main event. Sheamus and Braun Breaker had a standoff, which led to Sheamus and Braun Breaker getting a match for the title at Saturday night's main event. Everybody put in their bids for the Royal Rumble. There was a segment with Rhea, Bayley, and Nia, and then Damian and Finn had their street fight as the main event. And I thought it was a decent show. I was in the nosebleeds, so I couldn't really see anything fun happening. But it's kind of just like, if you've been to Raw or you've been to any sort of WWE taping, you get it. I don't really need to explain it, but if you haven't been, I would say this is the best time to go because there's something about the energy at these Netflix shows.
Marlee Mara, thank you very much. Next time, buy me a ticket. Let's go into it. AEW. Kenny Omega's defeated Brian Cage. People are people are saying they're glimpses of the best bout machine after the Gabe Kidd match. Do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, the man came back from almost dying to having like one of the best matches in recent memory. And yeah, Mr. X was in attendance in Cincinnati, talked about the cool, intimate venue. And I thought this was a solid match. I mean, Brian Cage is just the prototypical AEW guy of he'll win like a match on Collision randomly one day, and then oh look at that, the next week on Dynamite he's facing Kenny Omega, and we all know what's going to happen there. So yeah, good match, some good spots in there, but there was no doubt of what was going to happen. It was more about the aftermath of Don Callis' family attacking Kenny with
That's
everyone
still a thing,
involved.
huh?
It's still a thing. Will
Jesus
Ospreay makes a
Christ.
save, so they're teasing Kenny and everyone involved, also Kenny and Ospreay. So
So I was listening to Cheap Heat. Shout out to that guy and Emilio Sparks. They're doing this whole Edge as the savior of AEW thing or Cope. Sorry. Uh, should Kenny just beat John Moxley?
I mean, Kenny is one of the top guys that you would think could beat Moxley as like the representative of AEW. The one that kind of stands out is Darby Allin. Like
He's
he is
climbing
like
Mount Everest. I
he
think that
is the
was
Sting of AEW, and he's gone away. He's not even like talked about at all. He's like he got killed and he's gone to Mount Everest.
that was supposed to be it was supposed to be him, huh?
I
I
still
mean,
think
like,
it might be him. Like I
I
would not
mean,
be shocked if it's Sting or sorry, Darby and Mox at All In, and that's where he wins and gets his title
all
win.
in. When is it, July?
Yeah, early July.
Oh,
Or no, mid July.
Isn't WWE running something that weekend in Texas?
They're running, I think it's a Saturday night's main event that same day.
Huh. Oh yeah, we'll see. Um, yeah, man. I mean, like I've heard on like the Cheap Heat, they were like throwing out just possibilities. I mean, Darby could have beat Mox, and then Christian still has that contract. And how long is that even valid for? Do we know?
Who knows?
It's not a year. It's not a year stip.
I don't know. They
He
don't tell us
he,
details like that.
he cashes in 2024, or no, not 2024. I'm sorry, 2034. He just holds on to it for hella long, forever, like 10 years. Jesus. Um. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, and then they talked about like Kenny Omega, like all like coming off of Japan, the Japan run and everything. Should he have been portrayed the way Roman was? As this just this unbeatable guy? Should they have done that with Kenny Omega?
I mean, that's one of the greatest what ifs in AEW is they didn't go full bore out of the turf. I mean, Kenny lost that first match in AEW, the double or
The
nothing.
Neville Pac, right?
Well, the double or nothing main event. He lost to Chris Jericho.
That's right. We were there.
And he could have been, in the main event for the title. I mean, if it was him and Page or him and whoever, I think having Kenny Omega be your first champion, be the guy instead of a WWE guy and Chris Jericho, and
Well, I
you
mean, but
go all
they
it.
we know why. We know why they had to do it with Jericho and the name value.
I mean, I get it, but it's also like you are the competition to WWE, and at that point, we forget WWE was not doing very great at the time.
No,
And
they debuted the 24/7 title that weekend. I
and
remember.
if they went all in with Kenny and he held the title from like 19 to 21, and like who knows, CM Punk debuts in 21, and we get CM Punk and Kenny Omega at like something in 2022 at Double or
Double or
Nothing.
nothing.
Like that match would have been absolutely insane. But that's a lot of what ifs and what could have happened. And Kenny is also like not the type of guy who wants to be that. He wants to go out and have his really good match, and that's about it. So and with him being in charge and Tony Khan not being like the stern leader that we all want him to be, and obviously he's not. It was just kind of like a recipe for him having a solid heel title run, but nothing like spectacular.
Yeah, yeah. Swerve versus Ricochet, February 5th.
Yeah, they did the classic, I call it the Rey Mysterio Jeff Hardy move, where someone comes out who can't talks for a little bit, then instantly gets cut off, and that's what happened with Ricochet here. And
Hey, have you seen? I'm sorry. Have you seen this clip? it was like Triple H talking about like hiring guys like number of years ago. It's like, you get a guy like Ricochet and he's terrified to pick up a microphone, and then it cuts to Ricochet trying to cut a promo in AEW. I'm like, oh man, that's y'all did him dirty for that one.
Yeah, I mean Ricochet's not a good promo overall, but just trying to have him be like the mean tough guy definitely does not pick up. It's him
It,
trying to
it's
act on top of trying to talk.
it's like those like the scrawny kid in high school that thought he was hard. Like that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, which is not very intimidating when you're facing off against one of your top guys in the company and Swerve. And Prince Nana hits Ricochet in the back with a chair.
It
Swerve
starts
tries to
doing the
tries to get
dance.
Ricochet, and then Ricochet buggers off into the cold.
He buggers off.
Yeah, like
Bro,
trying to.
him hitting him with the chair, then and they do the dance. That was so unserious, and I loved every minute of it.
I mean, Ricochet
I
sold the hell
loved
out of
him.
that chair. He's definitely not like a Braun Strowman or whoever who would have just stood there and took it. So he
He
is like
he
the scrawny kid,
he he took it like like Roman when he got hit in the back by Seth.
yep,
Just
writhing in pain.
he did like the Peter Griffin cell. Ah, ah. Good stuff. Jeff Jarrett and MJF had a promo. I didn't get to see this. I saw the thumbnail when I was on YouTube last night. What's going on with JEFF I messed it up. I'm sorry. Keep going.
JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, baby.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, this one was a promo, all right. So MJF and Jarrett obviously are going to do something, and MJF comes out and he does his normal, MJF promo, cutting deep, talking about Carrot Angle and Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett being a killer for every territory he's been in, which is fine. That's what MJF does. Is it a little, one note? Maybe, but that's what MJF does. Jeff Jarrett then comes back and tries to match MJF bar for bar. And what does he do? He goes after MJF's mom, who's allegedly like a sex phone call worker or something, and then he goes after
Whoa, 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 whoa! What?
and then he goes after Alicia, a toot, like doesn't name
Yes,
drop her, but
Andy.
basically says like, yeah, your girl's like, running around the locker room, and I'm like, Jeff, like it's one thing when like you're going after MJF and like saying shit about him, but he's going after like these other women who have nothing to do with MJF's like on-screen character. Like it was just I did not like the promo from Jeff Jarrett's side of things. I thought it was I'm already not on board with him to begin with, and even here with the crowd, people are behind Jeff, and then like when he like says the line, "I'm gonna be the world champion," it kind of doesn't get that umph that I think he's looking for. Like people get behind Jeff when he's saying stuff, but then when he drops the world title line, that's when I think he starts to lose people.
That's it. It's not Cope. It's not Kenny Omega. It's not Darby Allen. Jeff Jarrett in the year of our Lord 2025. JEFFJARRETT is going to become the AEW champion and save us from the Death Riders.
And
And then
6 months from then,
he's
Tony
gonna
Khan
break
sells.
out with my baby tonight.
Does
You
Road
know,
Dogg still work with WWE? He's still a producer over there.
I would assume so, right? Yeah.
Oh, damn. So who's gonna sing?
Jeff Jarrett is. I was
Well,
I was ironically with my baby tonight came up on my thing the other day. I was like, this song isn't that bad. This might be my favorite country song.
are you
Spend
sure? What
my
about
days work.
Rap is Crap is pretty good.
I mean, it's
Shout
either
out
that
Rap
or
is Crap.
it's either with my baby tonight or Hurricane by Luke Combs. Shout out to the guy. But yeah. I saw an opinion. Hurt Syndicate better than Death Riders. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, Hurt Syndicate, I know who they are. Like they're just these three cool
I,
guys who
I
just like
know
beat
who
up
they
each
are.
other.
You don't know. I mean, you watched Claudio Castagnoli in WWE for like 10 years, bro.
I'm talking about like who they are, like in terms of their mission statement. Moxley just keeps rambling about nonsense, which I kind of agree with when in terms of like no one gives a crap about, AEW or wants to wrestle and whatever. But it's like, okay, like, are we gonna do something about it? Like, what is the whole point of this? Like, Hurt Syndicate just come out and their song says it all. They hurt people. And
Um,
shout out MVP, laced up the boots the first time in a couple years on Wednesday.
I saw that. They just look so badass. I'm like, this is it. This is it. I love it. What you call it? Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. What is this leading to? Like, are we going to find out what's going on? Is there a higher power in this with Moxley?
I mean, when did he win the title? Like 3, 4 months ago now? You'd think if there was, they would do something already. And I don't think that's what the case is. I think it's just they're mean guys who do like beat people up, and they're like they have some sort of like overarching mission statement that's not exactly clear on how they're going to achieve that. And so we're just kind of like running in circles.
Mm, mm. I guess. I guess. Tony Storm was a casino gauntlet. I saw Megan Bain was in this.
Young upstart Tony Storm finally gets her one big win in AEW, and she's gonna
Dang,
wrestle.
just bypass Megan Bain. You don't ever disrespect the Megasis, all right? She dope.
Sorry,
Shout out
Megan.
Megan Bain. All right. Shout out. Need to get her on the show. Maybe that'll be on the bucket list for 2025. Yeah, young upstart Tony Storm, just got with the company. Now she's has a shot at the AEW Women's Championship.
In
Whoa.
Australia.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Australia, really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's right. They're doing the Grand Slam in Australia. Right.
They pulled a WrestleMania 7. Supposed to be in a stadium, but they were like, oh yeah, no, there was a bomb threat, so we're gonna go to an arena instead.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
AKA we just didn't sell enough tickets. Yep.
WrestleMania 7. What was that? What was it?
That was the Sergeant Slaughter Stone Cold Hulk Hogan one. Or is that 8? I always get 7 and 8 confused.
I think so.
Because one of them was in Indy, and then the other one was in LA. I always get these confused. I'm going to go with 7. I'm not 100% sure, but we're just going to kill some time as Philip definitely doesn't just answer a phone call. If I can type WrestleMania 7. I was right. Put it on the board for me. March 24th, 1991, emanating from Los Angeles, California at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, headlined with Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. Was supposed to take place at the Coliseum, but they said because it was of threats to security, they had to move down to a smaller venue, which was not the case. So Tony Storm taking on Mariah May. I do wonder what's gonna happen in terms of like the story, because it is a little ways away. It's like 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away. And so I wonder how much Mariah May is going to play into the character, or if she's going to like outright say like, Tony, what the hell are you doing? You're an idiot. So that's an interesting thing. And, we see things leaking through with Tony Storm. And I think the whole story is like she's acting this whole time. Like it is timeless Tony Storm acting as her younger self to try to, get more opportunities. And then finally, main event time, hometown boy, Jon Moxley defends his AEW world title against Powerhouse Hobbs. And I think Hobbs was kind of like the perfect person to be in this spot if you were going to have a Moxley match in Cincinnati. Hobbs is like the perfect babyface to where he can kind of act subtle heel, but then the crowd is going to get behind him. And even though they are going to be mostly behind Moxley, I thought the match was good. There was obviously no chance that Hobbs was going to win this thing, but Moxley comes out. They did the spot in the corner where Hobbs bites Moxley's earring out of his ear, and I thought it was just like a spot or a gimmick, but then Moxley's like ear just starts bleeding all over the place. So I was kind of like I was also making dinner at the time, so I was kind of like half paying attention, so I didn't know exactly. I mean, I saw him bite it, but then I didn't see like if there's any cartilage hanging out of his ear. I don't know, but yeah, Moxley gets the win. A lot of kickouts from Hobbs at the very end, which did, I think, tilt the match over and got the crowd kind of behind Hobbs and kind of maybe wanted to see him win when, let's be honest, we all knew that was not going to happen. And Moxley, chokes him out. So kind of protecting, if a submission is more protecting than a pinfall, straight pinfall. But
hello.
Hello, Philip's back.
Yes. You were talking the whole time, right? It went okay for you?
I guess. I mean, I have been talking.
Yes.
I mean, I've been talking. I don't know what it sounds like on the other end. I did do a Wi-Fi test and said I'm good here. Philip may or may not be doing a hotspot over at his place, so I don't know quality wise how this podcast is going to sound, but god damn it, you're going to listen to it.
Right, you are gonna listen to it. What you call it? Yeah, because like it cut out for a second. I was like, I had to answer a call. A lot was going on. A lot was going on right now. A lot. I'm sorry. What have you been talking about?
Uh,
Mox and Hobbs?
yeah, and then how Mariah May is going to react to Tony Storm, being this character for the next like 3 weeks. If she's going to out her.
Out her.
Well, I mean, Mariah May is not just going to ignore the fact that she's a completely different person.
Oh no. We'll see. I mean, we're doing the amnesia angle, right? Did we
Well,
get Dr. Shelby in?
well, I was say, apparently I cut out. I was saying that it's Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm, acting as her younger self because that's what they would do back in the day, or like get plastic surgery and like make yourself look younger so you get the parts instead of being this old actress who no one wants.
Thought we were just doing the amnesia angle. We're not doing
No,
that
we're,
anymore.
we're playing 5D chest over here. I don't know. Maybe it's just more wishful thinking on storytelling in wrestling and in AEW.
Okay. All right. Um. Okay. Look. Hobbs didn't get the job done against Mox. That's unfortunate. That's my guy. I can answer this call again. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Well, Philip has to answer this call again. I'll be honest. I don't know what the hell to talk about because that has kind of come to the end of this podcast. It was a hell of a podcast. Thank you, Marlee, for sending in your thoughts and opinions. I don't know if there is any uh, independent shows here in the San Francisco Bay Area around the corner. It doesn't have anything on the prep sheet here. So I'm going to assume no, that there is no events here. Um, but yeah, let's just go on to the old gimmick and see if there's any random news. Oh, we didn't talk about the whole Corey Graves situation. There we go. That's something we can talk about. Corey Graves, talked about how he was not famous enough to be a commentator, basically. So going after Pat McAfee and anyways, I don't know what to make of this. It kind of screams work. There are people on the quote unquote inside saying that it's not a work. Um, I mean, it would make total sense if Corey Graves, does his angle for these next couple weeks, and then he ends up making a return at the Royal Rumble because he has been cleared for several number of years now, and he, has an appearance, maybe, has a showing or two, maybe has a match or just doesn't have a match at all. I don't know, but it's a strange situation, and maybe there, some of the best works come from real life situations. And so I would not be shocked if Corey Graves is frustrated because like his tweet spelled out, I'd be frustrated too if I like worked my entire career to be a wrestler, didn't pan out because of health reasons, and then I become a commentator. He's a pretty good commentator. Now I would say Wade Barrett is a better commentator than uh Corey Graves, but obviously I'm a McAfee guy. He's better than McAfee. McAfee has been like terrible these 2 weeks, but he's gonna get his job back eventually because both Testator, especially Testator, because he does college football games on Saturday, and McAfee does his college game day thing on Saturday morning as well. So I would assume like once we get to the fall, Testator and McAfee aren't going to be there because it did make sense like Testator being on Monday, and maybe they do a switch to where Cole is on SmackDown, Testator is on Monday, and whatever the case may be on that front. But yeah, I don't know what to make of this whole Corey Graves situation. And if this was 100% shoot and he got fired and goes somewhere, if I'm AEW, I definitely would want to scoop him up. I think he's a good commentator that can kind of set them straight and kind of over Matt Menard, and Phillip has dipped out. So you say to see that. So yeah, Matt Menard, I think he can go away. Oh, look, Phillip's back. All right. Nigel McGuinness, I think, is a good commentator. Tony Schiavone, I mean, I think he kind of plays down to his competition or to his product. So when the AEW product is bad, Tony Schiavone's pretty bad. When the AEW product's pretty good, Tony Schiavone's pretty good. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. Phillip, if you can hear me or if you can talk, I don't know what's going on over there. Do you have any comments on the Corey Graves situation before we finish this up? Cool. All right. Well, if that's the case, I guess we'll just wrap things up here. So remember, everyone, follow us, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to be like Mr. X and everyone else who sends in questions via our email, it's bulletcast2 in the number 2 suite at gmail.com. All the pertinent information, links, email address will be in the description of said podcast if you want to participate. Yeah, let us know. Also, since Phillip isn't able to talk right now, I can plug everyone go listen to Curveballs and Chair Shots this weekend. We got a big divisional round contest. Me and Dominic both went over 500 in terms of profit. So if you're trying to be a responsible sports gambler, Curveballs and Chair Shots is the spot. So there you go. So also shout out Marlee for sending her thoughts. Hopefully she had fun over there on Raw. Phillip, can't see him because his video's not working or his video's not on. I'm Brandon. Everyone stay safe, be safe, and stay dangerous. Yes, sir, because that's what Phillip says.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry for me having to dip out on the tail end of that episode. Hopefully Brandon gave you all the rest of the recap for AEW. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys so much. As always, follow us on IG, The Bulletcast, and Twitter is Bulletcast, YouTube is Bulletcast. We'll be back next week. Hopefully all three of us will be together again and we can just sit down and shoot the breeze about the business. Thank you all so much. Go to wrestling shows. PPW is happening in Petaluma Friday night, which is tonight, and then Sunday SPW. They're going down in Elk Grove, so pull up to some wrestling shows. Go show your support. Thank you all. Much love.
Microphone Messiah, Mr. No Days Off. It's the Bulletcast, the microphone Messiah, Mr. No Days Off. It's the Bulletcast, the microphone Messiah, Mr. No Days Off. It's the Bulletcast, the microphone Messiah, Mr. No Days Off.